All right, let's go ahead and get started. So thank you all for attending. Today we're going to be going through SOS Server Safe and how this changes the dynamic of our relationship with our partners and how it also really jumbles up the market. It's really quite a disruptive addition to what we have been provided when it comes to the increased functionality and the ninja price point that we're giving you to provide this to your customers. So we hope to see that, and as we already have, a great take on this, as our partners are really taking this as a single solution rather than a bit part, and really taking it to market with a very successful managed service package that they can provide, specifically when it comes to backup solutions. So before we really get into it, I just want to do a quick audio video check. Is everyone seeing my screen okay? And you should be seeing a slide that says SOS Server Safe Partner Webinar. And if you're hearing me okay, also just go through and say that you have a good audio check. Okay, great. All right, we have some people coming on. Terrific. So now that I've seen that some of you have used the chat function, terrific. This is how we're going to mainly be taking questions and comments through the webinar today, as we do have a big group. So just in the sake of time, we'll be doing it via chat. So if you have any comments or questions, it'd be appreciated if you'd go ahead and let those be known through the chat, and we'll address them at the appropriate times. And we'll be stopping periodically for questions as well. All right, so my name is Derek Wood. I'm the Partner Product Manager here at SOS, and this is SOS Server Safe. When we talk about Server Safe, again, we're first going to go through a quick industry. Where has SOS been? Where are we going now that we have Server Safe? What does this mean to you, the partner, now that we have this addition, whether you're existing or new? By the way, any existing partners we have looking to upgrade, or is everyone pretty much new to SOS altogether? See a couple familiar names. New. Okay. Great. So it looks like most everyone here is new. We have a couple prospective partners, so that's nice to see. Hello. We're going to go through specific Server Safe functionality and the benefits of this, and then we'll go through a product walkthrough at the end. So the industry. So SOS Online Backup has been an industry leader in online file and folder backup since 2006. A brief history of SOS Online Backup: we were founded in Melbourne, Australia in 2001. From 2001 to 2005, quite a humble beginning, not a big operation. It wasn't until 2005 that we launched our U.S. operation and essentially our global operations. So when we launched in the U.S. market in 2005, our first version that we put out was actually rated as PCMag's Editor's Choice as a beta. So we started off very strong, came out hot, and we've maintained that hot streak since. So being compared directly against similar file and folder online backup services like Carbonite, Mozy, iDrive, Norton, you name it, HP, all the major companies who have come out with something like this, we've been pitted directly against and specifically named, and still came out on top in those reviews. Even so much that we just had one come through just a couple weeks ago, where we're PCMag Editor's Choice. So now that we've been in this market for a few years, really what the industry trend has been, what we've seen, is that we really just passed the early adopters phase. So online backup and online storage services aren't new. They've been around since at least 2001. What's been new is that they're newly affordable. The security behind it is now something that's trusted and tested. It's gone through various pricing differences. So now it's storage in the cloud is much more affordable than it was 5 years ago. So now we've come to a point where we really got through the early adopter phase, which early adopters are those who just either like to be on the front end of new technology, or they have low risks and low costs associated with moving into new technology. So what we've seen year over year for the last four years or so is that the consumer online file and folder backup market, the online storage market, has grown by about 33% year over year. Now that's really good growth. That's tremendous growth year over year for 4 years. And the reason we've seen that growth so steady is because consumers, and we're also going to roll in the micro businesses, have a relatively low cost associated with moving to such a service. They didn't have expensive server-based systems or hardware-based systems like any type of tape drives or any type of appliance-based operation that requires a lot of human resources as well as a lot of research and time spent going through all the different pieces of technology you can use, and of course managing that on once you get it in place. So we saw that really we're just now getting into the early majority when it comes to small businesses coming on board. Small businesses, being that they generally have less overhead, but they have less margin rather in what they're doing, especially in IT services, that you didn't see a big take in the SMB realm. 1, because of cost, 2, because of trust, and 3, just availability. If you just don't have the bandwidth for it, you just don't have the bandwidth for it. So, and this isn't just us, this is from the IDC. So the IDC has confirmed that in their surveys, only 16% of the SMBs, 50 to 200 users, are currently using some sort of online backup today. Now that means that they're using some sort of it. About 3/4 of the companies of that 16% said that what they were using was just to try it out, kind of a proof in the eating, so to speak. So they were trying it out, and they're going to be looking to moving to a more robust solution later on. Of the companies that didn't currently have something in place, they were evaluating currently or planning to evaluate once their hardware-based systems were due to expire or closer to expiry. So we're really looking at a huge blow-up in the market that really wasn't addressable because of cost point and really the functionality behind it. There wasn't enough functionality. Had some time in the market. We're at that early majority stage. So the SMB market, when it comes to online cloud services, is relatively untouched. This isn't even a market that you're going to be replacing services with. It's more of a market that just hasn't been addressed with a cloud-based backup solution. And what's really great is that not only is the number of businesses going to increase who are taking this up, but the scope at which they take on an online backup solution or multiple backup strategies is going to increase. So instead of just having 1 or 2 workstations running a file and folder backup off-site, now maybe they have the online file and folder backup. They use our ServerSave product to get images of their servers off-site, and it becomes a robust cloud-based solution as a primary backup strategy with complementary services on the side, rather than being a complementary service to existing hardware systems. As we go through this, is this pretty consistent with what most of you have found, that there seems to be a threshold of price where there's that middle ground where on the smaller end it's doable because it's not that robust of an implementation and the cost isn't prohibitive. And then you have on the other end where you have bigger businesses where you do have a complementary online file and folder service. It's expensive, but they're big enough to afford it. And then you have this middle ground, this no man's land that's just been not quite able to afford it, but they still need it, and the implementation has been kind of in the air. That's been the experience from the partners that we currently have and that we've surveyed as we put this program together. So what we're really looking at with the addition of ServerSave is a doubling of the addressable market. So this is a graph that depicts what small businesses, the SMB market, are looking to spend on cloud-based services in the next 3 or 4 years. So at this point, not only are we're reaching a point where the functionality is really going to take off, but then the price is going to continue to really kind of level out here at the bottom. So we've reached a storage cost that's relatively low, and now it's all on top of the managed services. So it's not to get too wordy, but there's a quote here at the bottom from the IDC report that says, "The data speaks to an untapped opportunity for offerings beyond data backup and recovery, such as continuity services." So this is, and then it goes on, but I won't read too much from that. But it just says that there is a ton of opportunity on top of this that they just don't have any data against. They don't have any information to say, this is how much we expect managed services to take off on top of just the cost of cloud services. So when you put together SLAs as far as, are you going to be test recovering this on your location at a certain amount of time, what type of SLA are you going to have? You know, what do they get by going to Steve Dean versus Peter Perelius? And Peter, if I butchered your name, I apologize. But what are you bringing to the table that is not just a commodity tool that anyone can use? And so we're really looking at a huge increase in the size of the market that we can get to when it comes to not only an increased opportunity in cloud-based strategies for SMBs, but an increased scope of cloud-based opportunities, especially now that you have ServerSafe. So before we were addressing just a file and folder backup solution, and that was good for your file servers, good for your workstations and your laptops. With our new ServerSafe program, it's including much, much more than that. You're getting a full end-to-end solution from a single vendor, SOS Online Backup being that vendor. Not only are you going to have mobile applications to back up information from iPhones, Androids, and eventually Blackberries, but you can also get your file and folder system installed on the specific workstations and laptops, so for those people working off-site. TechCrunch just reviewed a big article that was actually put out by originally Forbes, and it spoke to the importance of risk management, especially when times get tough. So risk management is, whether we like it or not, one of the main services that we're providing as IT service providers. You know, what happens when a workstation dies? What's your risk management plan? What happens when a server dies? What happens when Charles is out on vacation? Who's going to take up his responsibilities? Things like that, any type of risk management that you would put together. And a true risk management plan is going to prevent the most damaging instances of risk, really, but more specifically for us, data loss. And when times are good, people lay off risk management a little bit. And before managed services really took off, when it came to your the IT part of your business, risk management was wholly risk. So something bad happens. How are we going to react to it? And that's really all we had. Now that we have affordable managed services, we can put more preventative nature in place. So we can have more preventative tools, monitoring tools that are remote. We have a Pulse Management Console, which allows you to monitor your backups as they're running. And you sees all the events and the session details, all without violating any type of security compliance. So those of you worried about HIPAA compliance, SAS 70, SSAE 16, Sarbanes-Oxley, the EU Safe Harbor standards, those all stay intact with our management console. And a lot of people have trouble with getting good management that doesn't violate security because of the access it gives. So our management console is strictly event-based, and it doesn't provide direct access to any of the data that you're actually backing up. And that's what keeps our security in place. So what we're doing here is we're looking at a driver. We're really offering not only an increased number of businesses adopting cloud services, but an increase in that scope of adoption per business. So rather than maybe spending, just for easy numbers, maybe your average SMB was spending $1,000 a year on cloud-based storage or backup services previously. Well, now we're looking at SMBs spending 3 to 4 times that, and also a significant increase in the number of SMBs adopting online cloud services. So we're really looking at a booming market. And what we've done here is, by giving you a full circle solution, and this graph really speaks to it quite well, is we've given you a way to not only come in with a end-to-end solution rather than just a single strategy. So this saves you money on your end when it comes to training your staff. You don't need multiple vendor relationships. You just need to come talk to us, and we can handle it all. So that saves you time and frustration and training, et cetera, on your end. And then when it comes to your customers, they really get quite a robust solution. Nobody in the market today offers everything that we have listed on this map. So starting with the cloud-based backup strategy. So right now we back up Facebook. So a lot of businesses are continuing to use Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and Google services for marketing purposes or anything related to their business. How were you able to back up that information previously? You weren't really. So we've offered a way that you can back up, for now, Facebook and soon to be Twitter and LinkedIn. This is really terrific because there is a risk when you're dealing with these services. You know, anytime there's a world event, so the World Cup nearly shut down Twitter. A lot of people were losing their accounts and they had to re-add everyone. You know, and building up your followers on Twitter, it really is a lot of effort. You know, entire careers are set on this type of following. So you really need to make sure that you're backing up all the aspects of your business. And currently there was no solution for that. So that's one thing. Your mobile life. So you're doing work from your phone. Your phone is no longer just a telephone. You can do emails and all that. You can back up your contacts and images from your iPhone currently. You'll be able to back up information from your Droid next, and then BlackBerry soon thereafter. So now you have a mobile solution. Also, you have mobile access. If you want to recover a specific file that you've backed up from your workstation, laptop or desktop, you now had your users with the ability to access or share files that they've backed up that's active and important to them from their mobile device. So you're really, from a user perspective, given a great amount of access and flexibility when it comes to backup solutions. That's not always something that's in line. I'm sure everyone's familiar with the nightmare that the wide adoption of services like Box.net have created. So now you have this information storage and sharing platform that's not being managed by the company's CIO. So that creates a lot of worry, a lot of sleepless nights worrying about what kind of data is out there and if it should be or not. Well, at least with SOS, it's controlled, you can monitor it, and you can make sure that at least they're using a secure service rather than just some open storage service that really security is not the main premise. And that's really an evidence by the flexibility you have to move with your services. We actually are coming out with a file sharing service that will be similar but secure. So then you get into, okay, now you're talking about bigger businesses. You have your file and folder data on your workstations or your servers. And then you have servers with application data, whether it's Exchange, SQL, SharePoint, whatever it is, you set up on terminal services. So now you can take images of these volumes and you can have them at a staging location, and if in the staging location you put them off in the cloud. And then Q2 this following year, we're going to be rolling out Cloud Boot, which will allow for booting up as a virtual machine in our cloud these images that you've backed up off-site. So it really becomes quite an amazing, robust solution, all at a price point that completely disrupts the market. So what we're looking at today when it comes to typical BDR solutions is you have to buy hardware. Anyone have some numbers of hardware prices that they have to buy? I know with companies like Zenith and Dado, it's something like $2,000 for a box. Anyone using a similar type of service? I have a couple questions here. Where are your servers located? Located globally. So we have 5 here in the US, 1 in Canada, 1 in the UK, 1 in Chennai, 1 in Kiev, and 1 in Australia. And we are adding data center presences all over. Another question. I'm in Canada and deal primarily with legal and accounting professional firms who need to have data reside in Canada. Will or do you have data centers located in Canada? Yes, we do in Toronto, so you'll be fine. Any other questions? See, George, you got your hand raised. Okay, well, to go through ServerSafe and what comes with ServerSafe, and as I go through this, also bringing up our website, SOSOnlineBackup.com, and we've changed it up a little bit for those of you who are existing partners. So we have home, business, and ServerSafe, 3 adjustable markets. So you can see more details about ServerSafe, but if you come to the reseller section, you can see information about our program. So we like to think of ourselves as providing a 360-degree solution. And ServerSafe really, truly encapsulates that. Not only beyond just the billing interface, support ticketing, HTML marketing, sales support, training, technical support, all of this, the infrastructure, of course, but now it's an even more robust solution in how we're providing this to you and in the level of services. So before you had a really great file and folder service that you're providing, and that was a terrific part of a backup solution. But now we're offering a full end-to-end backup solution that you can take, and you don't need any third-party pieces of software to make it a complete solution. So you don't need to use Backup Exec and then or use Backup Assist or Zenith or any of these other companies that are more on the BDR side of things. We now give you that ability, and without requiring you purchasing expensive hardware from us for no reason other than having been a historically hardware-based business. Being software-based from beginning to now, we just don't see any reason that you should spend so much money on a piece of hardware. That's limited to proprietary file types. All you need to do is get a Windows 7 box, load up with 8 gigs of RAM